God's sakes, I hate this intersection. Alright, so today I am putting around the city, doing some errands on the bike, some work deliveries and some work pickups and such. And today's topic of conversation is to clutch cover or to not clutch cover. That is the question. Should you always have your hand covering the clutch when you're riding your bike? And my quick answer is yes. See, right now I've got mine at the ready. And the reason I do that, and a lot of other riders do this, is because you need to pull in the clutch when you hit the brakes, or at least hard. If you're screeching to a stop kind of thing, you got to pull the clutch in. So if your hand is not at the ready, you could lose anywhere around the range of a second worth of time. And in an emergency situation, that's a lot of time. A second can make all the difference. So I don't know if you can see it on my helmet cam, but I've pretty much had my hand over the clutch this entire time. It has absolutely saved me multiple times by having my hand ready at the clutch. So right here, I'll give you a quick demonstration. When you have your hand like this and something happens, you gotta quickly stop. You gotta reach out, find the lever, grab it, and pull it in, and then do the rest of your stuff. That can take a huge amount of time when you're talking about seconds to milliseconds worth of time. Let's go this way. These freaking roads are so rough. Alright, back to the topic. What I find is that when I'm in the city like this, I pretty much have my clutch covered pretty much all the time with my entire hand. When I am out in the country on a road that I am very familiar with, that might be remote and not a whole lot of people or traffic and all that kind of stuff, well then I will give in a little bit and I won't have my hand covering the clutch 100% of the time, but pretty close. And within that time, I will also just sometimes use just a finger or two. And even that right there makes a huge difference. This right here is a zillion times better than this. Simply by having a finger like this or two, and that allows my brain and the rest of me to keep track of where that lever is. So if the hits the fan and your muscle memory kicks in, your muscle memory is gonna sooner start yanking rather than searching, and that makes a huge difference. City driving is crazy. There's no getting around that or putting it any other way. It is crazy, chaotic, sometimes scary. Alright, so now they're turning, especially with crazy 6-way intersections of nearly 2 lanes of traffic each. Alright. So I say always cover the clutch. There's going to be a few situations where that's not the case, but I'd say 98 to 99% of the time you want to cover the clutch. And that even can just be 1 or 2 fingers, because you want to know where the clutch lever is. It sounds silly, but in the moment you may lose track of where it is just because you're in a panic. So right now I got 3 fingers covering the clutch, and that's because this truck in front of me is being a little erratic with his driving. Even when I'm on the highway, I still cover my clutch, I just don't do the full hand. And part of that is to hold on. I'm pretty sure that guy had a snake around his neck. Pretty sure that guy had a snake around his neck. You know, it's kind of funny, when I'm not covering my clutch, I actually kind of like feel naked. And what I mean by that is I feel exposed and I feel unprepared. Right now, it's fully covered. Number one, because this car is out of state. They're driving a little slower than they should on this road. Now I am not clutch covering because I'm pretty familiar with this road. It usually flows pretty good. The cars in front of me are all driving at the speed you would expect them to be driving. Right now I've got 1 finger over the clutch because again, I'm familiar with this road. It moves pretty good. There's very few variables that affect it. When something's going down, milliseconds are huge. And the amount of time it takes to reach your fingers out and find the lever and pull it in, it's pretty massive. So if you can minimize the time it takes to do that, maximize your control, that can make all the difference in the world. So there we go. I hope you learned something. Probably not, but I was yakking either way. And having a contingency plan